Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth. And today we're going to be playing on a desert highway. It's actually the full name and the title is On a Dark Desert Highway. Which I imagine for the vast majority of you, you're going to recognize the lyrics from the famous song Hotel California by the Eagles. Now, before we take a look at today's puzzle, I just want to make a quick comment. Sometimes, if I'm honest, I worry about essentially being called, the willpower, gobbler, Florian Wortman kind of channel. I feature so many of their puzzles, particularly Will, as I'm doing today, back to back from another puzzle yesterday from Willpower. But what can I do? I mean, the guys are just phenomenal constructors. They put out approachable puzzles, and they're just so stunningly rated. I mean, today's puzzle, when I was sort of browsing and looking for which 1-star difficulty rated puzzle I should be looking at, yeah, the top rated one was from Willpower. So thank you, Will, and apologies if as a result I end up not featuring some of your more difficult puzzles on weekends. I think Will tends to create some of the more approachable ones. He gets featured quite a lot during the weekdays, and sometimes he does send requests and say, hey, do you mind if you feature this difficult puzzle for the weekend? And I feel so guilty after featuring like 2 or 3 in the weekday from him to be featuring a 3rd or 4th on the weekend. There will be at some point a continuation of, I think it was Mother's Love, and he kind of pointed out that there's another one called Swing Me Daddy, where the dad is basically playing with the baby, swinging him around, as I guess dads do. Probably not this weekend, given I'm already on, is it Tuesday, Wednesday, and I've featured 2 of Will, but I will at some point. Anyhow, that's a long intro. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and today's rule set. And sorry, just quick comments. You've got there Sleuth driving on a dark desert highway. There are shimmering lights in the background, and in those shimmering lights is a sign that says, "Welcome to Hotel California." Let's take a look at today's puzzle, On a Dark Desert Highway by Willpower. He's even got some of the lyrics in the intro, and I just couldn't remove it. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. Welcome to the Hotel California. Rules-wise, we've got, and I'm guessing, sorry, I'm going to comment on this before I move on. I'm guessing these white KROPKI dots are the shimmering lights. I am guessing this is sort of like the dark desert highway here with kind of the red sands. Not sure what this is. Maybe that is the sign, or this is the sign. Tough to make out. Anyway, rules we've got. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, every 3x3 box. We know that one. Dutch whispers. Numbers on red lines are at least 4 apart from their neighbours on the line, and numbers do not repeat on the red lines. Well, I was going to say that's generally true because they're all in the same row, but actually this one is interesting. That is quite a long line. And obviously these 2 cells could be the same as these 2 cells, but not according to the rule set, so watch out for that. Dutch whisper lines, so if this cell here was a 2, these 2 cells would have to be 4 or more away, not 5 or more away. So that could be 6, 7, or 8, or even 9. Now, the weird thing is particularly if you look at this particular line, it doesn't have to oscillate like German whisper lines between high, low, and high. I can do strange things like, I'm actually going to do it in this order, 9, 5, and 1, because that's actually totally fine. So rather than going high, low, high, I'm going high, middle, low. So just watch out for some of these may actually have 5s, unlike German whisper lines. We have KROPKI pairs, so numbers on white dots between them are consecutive. If that was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3, so that it is consecutive. And numbers with a black dot between them are in a ratio of 2 to 1. So I had a 2 in here, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So this would have to be 1 or 4. Essentially, one cell is double the other. The other, they have to be consecutive. Not all possible dots are given. That 2 could have a 4 next to it. That 2 can have, well, it can't on this Dutch whisper line, but let's say it does. That can have a 1 to it. No white dots, no black dots, all fine. Lastly, maximum. The grey cell is greater than all the orthogonally adjacent cells. So this can actually be as low as 2, but sorry, as 3, but essentially it means that these two cells have to be lower. So with this cell, obviously it doesn't have to be a 3, could be higher, but as long as all 3 cells are orthogonally adjacent, are lower, you're complying with that rule set. So if you feel like traveling down memory lane, listening to this song whilst you're solving this particular puzzle, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. As always, unfortunately, I can't be playing the song right now, otherwise I'll get a copyright strike. I did while I was creating that thumbnail, though. I think it helped inspire it. Anyway, time for me to restart the clock, see how I get on. So I'll tell you what caught my attention most of all is actually these 2 rows. The large number of black KROPKI dots tells me that these 3 cells and these 3 cells are all from 5, 7, and 9. Thank you. You might say, well, Sleuth, how did you manage that? Well, the only set of digits that can never be on a black KROPKI dot are 5, 7, and 9. And essentially, everything in row 6 and everything in row 7 are black KROPKI dots except for these 3 cells. So they are forced to be 5, 7, 9. And this is interesting on this Dutch whisper line. The irony is actually had 9, 5, 1 earlier. Now I'm fairly sure this can't be the 5, because the 5 would have to be surrounded by 1 and 9. And obviously the 9 would be here if that is a 5. So that's not the 5. 5 is one of these, which makes the other 1 and 9. I could have it as 5, 9, and then that's the end of it. Or I could have it as 9, 5 as I had in my example. That is a 7 though. Now, whichever one it is, whether this is 5 or 9, this would have to be low. If it's 5, that's 9, that would have to be a 1. If this is 5 and that's 9, this would have to be a low digit because it's not 5, so it'll be 2, 3, or 4. And the irony is all of them actually work on a black KROPKI dot, but potentially not on this end. For example, if I make a 4, no, that's a bad one. If I make 3, that's a 6. That is definitely not 4 away. Yeah, it's not 4 or more away from any of them, not even the 9. That is not a 3, that is not a 6. Pretty sure that can't be an 8. Again, same challenge. But I think it can be 1, 2, or 4. And it can even include a 4. I could have a 9 in here just fine. Okay. One of these 2 cells, however, is a 7. Remember, no 9s left in the rest of this row. So I'm fairly sure this has to be a low digit. Even if this is 5, that would be 9, that would be 7. This would have to be 1. If it's not 5, essentially it's, again, 2, 3, 4. But this time I don't really have any restriction on this end. This could be even as high as 8. This is not looking good, by the way. 5, 9, and 7. I'm wondering if this is forced to be 8. I think it has to be. Without 5 in here, we know that these oscillate polarities. Therefore, these would be low. This would be the only... oh, hang on. No, I've got a 6. I've got a 6. And I can actually put a 6 in the middle with 1 and 2. That would be fine. It doesn't actually force this to be low, low, high. This has to be low. This is not a 4 because this is a 7. That would only be 3 away. This can still be a 4. This is 1, 2, or 3. I don't think it can be a 3 because that would put a 6, which is too close to both the 5 and the 9. It's only 1 and 3 away. So no 3, so that's a 1, 2 pair. That is helpful. Now, I think because there is 1 and 2 gone, I don't think I can have a 6 anywhere on this Dutch whisper line. Even if it's on the edge, this would have to be 1 or 2 to be 4 or more away. The only remaining low digits of 3 is only 3 away. So no 6 here. That's the 6. That's the 3. That's the 8. And this is 3, 4. That 8 forces this to be a 4. That is not a 4. No 4 on the rest of this row, so this 1, 2 would have to be 1, 2 again. And these two have to be 6 and 8, which they can be because this is 3 and 4. For it to be 4 or more away, that forces this to be the 8, not the 6. That's the 8. 8, 4, 4, 3, 6. I really can type better than this. It's just I don't have a numpad on this keyboard, so I'm kind of hitting numbers blindly as opposed to intuitively. And as a result, you see this regular mess that I'm making. That is not a 5. That is not 4 or more away. This is 7 or 9. This can be a 5 with a 1. Whichever one is the 5, whether it's this one or this one, that would be the 1. Not sure I can force a decision in here. What about these? I think this is sort of the place to look for next. How long is this Dutch whisper line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a lot of digits. It's going to be missing 3. And it's got at least 3 black KROPKI dot digits. And this is not 1 or 2. On a Dutch whisper line, yeah. It can't be 1 or 2. It can't be 2, 4. Obviously, I mean, I've used the 2, but this is only 2 away. It can't even be 3, 6 because they're only 3 away. So this is forced. This has to be 4, 8. I don't know which is low and which is high, though. Whichever one is the 4, the next one in here has to be a 9, because if that's the 4, that's an 8. To be 4 or more away, this would have to be the 9. So whichever one is, there's a 9 in here, making this a 5, making this a 1, making this a 2, making this a 1, making this a 2, making this clearly not a 5. Don't need both work. 7 and 9 are both 4 or more away from 2 and 3. The 1 in here, I could actually still do either way. I could still do 5 and 9 or 9 and 5, both work. The 8, 1 and 2, this could be 3. Oh, it is 3. That is 3, 9. Because essentially I've placed all the other low digits. 1, 2, and 4. So this was 3, 9. To complete this, this is 6, 7. That has to be 4 or more away from whatever this cell is. 9 is not 4 or more away from 6 or 7. It's 3 and 2. So that's 3. That's 9. That is 7. That is 6. That therefore has to be the 8. And this is the 4. Lovely. This has to be 1 or 2, because 3 and 4 are gone on the line. That 1, 2 could be 1 and 2 again. It can't be a 4. So that's a 1, 2 pair. This has to be a high digit, and it's not 7, 8, or 9. But unfortunately, I can actually write in a 5, because this could be a 1, this could be a 5. Ironically, no, this can be an 8. It's not 7, 9. It's not 6, but it is 5 or 8. If that's 2, that would have to be 8. If that's 1, that would be 2, that would be 6. That could be still 5 or 8. It doesn't actually help me. Do I have to have a 5 in here? I don't think so. It could be 6, 8 with 1, 2. So it doesn't actually force anything in here. These two cells, however, surely, because they're not 3, 6, they're not 1, 2, they are 4, 8. That 8 gives me an order. That's 8, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 1, that's 2, that is not a 5, that's 9, that's 5, that's 7, that's 9. Lovely. Not 3, 6, not 4, 8, it is 1, 2. This 1, 2 will give me the order. These two cells are known, they are 5 and 9. Ironically, again, in any order is fine. And here it's got to be a 3, which got to be hidden in there, and that's a 7 to obey the Dutch whisper rules. So that's the bottom half of the grid largely done. Where do we go from here? So these 4 cells have to be consecutive, and with 6, 5, and 9 all written, I'm fairly sure this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 7, 8. That 4 tells me the order. That's 4, 3, 2, 1, because essentially the 1 and 4 were here, the 2 and 3 were there. That 4 said that is the 1. This is 7 or 8, not resolved. We don't have any more black KROPKI dots. Maybe this setup here. That's another run of 4. What are these cells? 1, 2, and 8. Very helpful. That's the 8. 1 and 2. This is forced again. This has to be the 1. This has to be the 2. If that's the 1, both of these would be 2. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. This cell is known. It is a 6, I'm going to say. These 3 cells are 5, 7, and 9, ironically. These 3 cells, well, they're not 9, 7, 6, or 8, but they could be from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3 are not here. This is 4 or 5. It can't be ascending. 4, 5, 6 would conflict, so it has to be descending from this. So this is 5, and it's not 5 because the next one would have to be 4, and neither of these are 4. So that's 4, 3, 2. Doesn't help me with my 5, 9. That's not a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Does that help potentially? I know that the 8 is in here. And the rest of this is 5, 7, 9. This is including an 8. This can't be the 5 because that's too low for the surroundings. That's not the 5. 7, I think, is also too low because, I mean, I'll show you. If that's 7, I can only have a 5 that's lower than it. So that is forced to be a 9. None of these are 9s now. This is indeed lower than everything, so not a lot of pressure really. 2 is resolved. This is 1 or 3. It's not a 3, that's a 1. There's 5, 7, and 6 in here. Not very helpful. Up there, I need a 1, just forced in here. No 6. This is 5, 7, or 9. Again. Then I have an 8 with another 5, 7. Then there's essentially another 5, 7, 9 in here. It's not a 7. It'll be in the other 5, 9. So one of these is the 7. Plus another digit, a 6. What was it? 5, 7. 5, 9. 5, 9, 6 with a 6. So I'm guessing these white KROPKI dots are going to have to come to the rescue. So we have a run of 3 in here. They're not 1, 2, 3, or 4. Don't know. And there's an 8 as well. So I think this is forced to be 5, 6, 7. 5 and 7. 6 in the middle. Not a 6. Is the 6. That's a 5, 7, 9 triplet. That's the 8. That's not the 8. That's a triplet. These 2 are therefore 2, which is in here because of this 2 and a 3. That is another triplet, so this is also known. This is 4 and 8. Not resolved. Interesting. Okay. These cells, well, this is not the second 5, 7. So there's another 5, 7, which is not also in here because of these 5, 7. So it's there. That's a 5 because of that 7, which gives me 7, which gives me 5. It'll help me a lot in a second. In here, I need a 1 and 9, which are resolved because of this 1 and this 9, in fact. 7 gives me 5, gives me 9. No 9's in here. That 5 gives me 7. No 7 in here. That's 5, 6. That gives me a 9 down there. That gives me a 7 in here. That gives me a 5 there. Gives me a 9 here. 5 there. The 5, 6 are resolved with that 5. That's 6. That's 5. That 7, 8 is also resolved. 8, 7. That 4, 8 isn't yet, but I'm sure this will help. This is 8, 9. Has to be consecutive, and 9 is still remaining. That 9 gives me order. That's 4, then it's 8. 1s. Oh, now I have done 1s. Let's do this digit first. This is 4. I need 3 and 6. 3, and if I've not made any mistakes, 6. Oh, hang on, 7. For a second there, I was panicking, thinking I made a mistake, but no. It's a lovely puzzle. Thank you for the trip down memory lane, Willpower. I kind of loved the break-in. You know, you just sort of have to look for it immediately with these 5, 7, 9s. And then the Dutch Whisper line sort of takes over from here. The uniqueness part, probably was required to help you make progress and limit the choices in here. So yeah, lovely puzzle. Hope that you guys enjoyed it, both the puzzle and the video, as well as, you know, maybe probably listening to that song while solving it. See you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.